So some of the concepts, some of the ideas when we start talking about well-being may be new for some people, but each of us have strategies, things that we do in our lives to help us to feel better, right? It's a natural instinct for our bodies to want to be healthy, to want to thrive. And so each of us have strategies that we use in our lives to support our well-being. So I invite each of you to think about what are those strategies in your life that you use that help you to feel good, right? And it may be that you haven't done them in a long time, but at some point you had strategies that you use that help you to feel good, help you to feel better. So we can think about these strategies in each of the 5 dimensions of our well-being, right? So exercise, drinking enough water, right, helps our physical well-being. Talking to a really trusted friend, someone who's going to really practice deep listening with us and not offer judgment, not offer their analysis, can really be very helpful for our well-being. Spending time with our families, with our friends, singing, dancing, traveling, arts and crafts, gardening, getting out into nature. All of these are things that many of us do in order to support our own well-being. Once we start thinking more deeply around well-being, we realize that some of our strategies include stopping doing things that we have been doing or limiting things that we've been doing. So for many of us, that's setting some boundaries around our use of social media, for example. It can also be setting boundaries around what we're willing to do, right? So for many activists, that means saying no sometimes, which is very difficult when we feel like there's so many demands on us and all of those demands are very important. But that ability to just say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that right now, is a deeply radical well-being act of saying, I want to be able to contribute as much as I can, and right now I can't do that. Thinking about our strategies in this way helps us to think about what are some strategies that we may have that are helping us to cope versus helping to really support and strengthen our well-being. And it's not about judging any of our strategies, right? We each have strategies that we use to help us survive, but that as we're able to focus more on our well-being, thinking about how we can shift our strategies from strategies of coping to strategies that are really supporting our well-being. And so it may be thinking about limiting our social media, right? Or it could be reflecting on how we're using alcohol. Are we using alcohol to try and numb our feelings, to try and relax? Are there other ways that we could release our stress? Are there other ways that would be more supportive of helping to process our emotions? Are there parts of our lives that we've been ignoring that we need to give some attention to? Maybe we need to go see a doctor or a healer for issues that we've been ignoring for a long time. So taking that time in a gentle and loving way to really analyze our own lives, our own situation, to see how can we develop strategies that are most supportive of maintaining and sustaining and strengthening our well-being. One way to do that is to create a well-being plan for ourselves. So generally we like to make first a short-term plan so that things can become a habit, and then after that short-term plan, then can think about longer-term plans. But so try to make a plan for 1 month. And in that plan, think about these 3 aspects. What are things that you want to stop doing because you realize that they're not supporting your well-being? So it may be activities you're doing, it may be something that you're doing, it may be thoughts that you're having and that you're aware that those thoughts are no longer supportive, right? So things that you're doing, thoughts you're having that you want to stop because they're no longer supportive of your well-being. A second part of the plan is thinking about things that you want to continue doing. These are parts of your life, parts of your daily routine that you do now that you know are supportive. And you want to really intentionally and with effort continue to do those things. And then finally, things you want to start doing. As you evaluate, as you analyze your well-being, you realize that you want to give yourself a little bit more care and attention, and you want to start doing these things that will be supportive of your well-being. All right, so for 1 month, thinking practically and intentionally about things you want to stop doing because they're limiting your well-being, that you want to continue doing in order to support your well-being, and things you want to start doing that will help to grow and contribute to a greater sense of well-being. So I really encourage you to write down your plan. And I would say write down your plan on a piece of paper. Right? So get off of all your devices for a moment and write down your plan on a piece of paper that you can keep somewhere so that it can be a reminder to you about this plan. And put it somewhere that you will see it. Maybe it's on the top of your desk, maybe it's on your refrigerator, maybe it's beside the mirror in your bathroom, somewhere that you're going to see it on a daily basis, so it can be a positive affirmation to you of what you're really wanting to commit to yourself to do in order to practice well-being, to practice self-love.